위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전. 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
안녕하세요. 영화배우 김민재입니다. 마약 시작하면 끝입니다.
너도 시작해볼래? 정말 끝내준대.
집중이 잘 안 돼? 이거 하나면 끝나.
괜찮아. 뒤끝 없어.
끝난다 끝나.
인생 끝! 마약 시작이 인생 끝입니다. 공익광고협의회.
Coming up next is Inside Out Busan with Min-Soo Shin. BFM 부산영어방송.
Hello, 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 and happy Tuesday to you all. Thank you so much for joining us here on Inside Out Busan. I'm your host, Min-Soo Shin. T-minus 6 hours left until the big decision that is set to be made. Today might mark the beginning of a new global leap for our city of Busan. It's the day they decide on the host city for the 2030 World Expo. You know, all of us here in the city and really all of Korea, we're all really hoping that we beat out Riyadh of Saudi Arabia in this face-off, and, you know, in the end we get to host the Expo. Now, the news is all abuzz internationally, saying things that are super intense, and they're gonna be until the very end. 근데 막공마, 막판까지 꺾이지 않는 마음으로. So we're holding on to the hope and wishing with all of our hearts here at BFM that our city, Busan, gets picked. Fingers crossed. Good luck, Busan. Welcome, everybody. This is Inside Out Busan here at BFM 90.5 if you're tuned in from the Busan area, 103.3 FM if you're tuned in from Kijang, Cheongwan, or Noksan. Welcome, everybody. 환영합니다. 반갑습니다. I'm your host, Min-Soo Shin. And to start off our show, that was Laura Mvula with Ready or Not. Ready or not, Busan, the decision will be made. And I guess, I got to put it out there in the universe. Busan is ready. What am I talking about specifically? I'm sure you've heard if you've been tuning in to BFM just today, and if you've been looking up, just any news outlets in general, the talk of the town is the decision for the host city of the 2030 World Expo will happen today. In about 6 or 7 hours or so, the decision, will be made. So it is that fateful night that will determine the future of our city, really. So, question for you, how do you predict the outcome of tonight? Looking back at past Expo bids, cities that didn't snag the top spot in the first round, they never managed to turn things around in the final vote. So if Busan pulls off that last-minute comeback as we've been planning, it'll be the biggest twist in the 95-year history since the BIE was set up back in the year 1928. So following the government's plan, if Busan, despite securing the second spot in the initial vote, manages to beat Riyadh in today's final round, it would be recorded as the first ever case of a comeback victory in the final vote. So I'm sure you know just how thrilling it is, a comeback victory, like in sports. I'm sure you've seen a lot of these underdog movies. So in the midst of all this anticipation, definitely here at BFM, definitely throughout our city of Busan, throughout Korea, we're hoping that Busan can triumph over our competition right now, Riyadh of Saudi Arabia, and take the spotlight as the main character, the protagonist of the 2030 World Expo. So if you've been tuning in, like I said, here at BFM throughout the day, I'm sure you've been tuning into a lot of special interviews that a couple of the shows had just to get a feel for what's been going on here in Busan. Not in Busan, specifically in Paris. We've been connecting with, reporters and experts just to get a feel for what's been going on over there. And we are going to do just the same over here on Inside Out Busan. This will be during the second hour of our show. We'll be connecting right off the bat for the second hour. We'll be connecting with Busan Metropolitan City Expo Bid Planning Division member Yeo Jung-sup, Mr. Yeo Jung-sup. He'll be joining us. He'll be filling us in on just what's been just going on, the atmosphere, overall vibe in Paris, because he's over there, as well a bunch of people from Busan City to just make that final push for our city to snag the expo. So as we're all waiting, on the edge of our seats, I really want to ask our listeners, as today is the day they decide on the host city for the 2030 World Expo, send some positive vibes, words of support for Busan. I'm sure a lot of you, since yesterday, you've been sharing with us here at BFM, here on Inside Out Busan, just how confident you are that Busan will indeed bring the World Expo. Share some of that today as well. I'm looking for all your messages. 네, 2030 엑스포 개최지 결정을 앞두고 부산을 위한 응원의 한마디 보내주세요. 꼭꼭꼭. I'm sure our city officials over there, everybody just making that final push to bring the World Expo, working very hard. Like I said, we'll be connecting with one of them later on in the second half of our show. But we're going to need your support, not only for the show, but until that decision is made. So send all your messages, your support messages, positive vibes and everything to 샵 9050. That's pound 9050. That's for text messages. It will cost you 100 won. You could send those messages via Kakao Talk, which is free. And you could log onto our YouTube. Inside Out Busan is live over there. Come join us. Already JB님 on our YouTube 바로 들어왔습니다. Let's get it, Busan! JB님. I feel the positivity and encouragement in your message. Thank you so much. We're going to need a lot more, so keep those messages coming in, all right? Let's get to today's News Bites. All right, time for News Bites. We have BFM newscaster Kate Shin with us here in the studio. Hello, Kate.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming in. So, lots of talk, lots to cover, and I'm sure right off the bat, you're going to start off with what everybody has been just hearing throughout the day, what we're expecting in the coming hours. News of the host city for the 2030 World Expo, right?
Yes.
Start us off.
So the bid to host World Expo 2030 is heating up in Paris as we speak. So Prime Minister Han Duck-soo, leading the World Expo 2030 in Busan bid, expressed commitment to securing international support. The government, private sector, and National Assembly collaborated in contacting 182 international exposition organization members. Han acknowledged public expectations and pledged his best efforts for positive outcome. And President Yoon Suk-yeol urged Han to persist until the final decision. And South Korea plans to emphasize Busan Expo's role as a platform for global cooperation in the face of shared challenges. The final presentation will highlight Busan's strengths, aspirations, and support for participating countries. The government aims to convey sincerity and garner votes from around the world. The final decision is anticipated in the early hours of the 29th local time.
Yeah.
So despite the challenges, officials express confidence in a potential historic turnaround. The Busan Expo hosting committee, formed by the government and private sector, has undertaken extensive global outreach. Prime Minister Han stressed the importance of the collaborative effort between the government and the private sector. So efforts to secure votes, especially from Saudi Arabia, continue until the last minute of the 28th local time. The government remains optimistic about the outcome, citing successful efforts to sway Saudi's support in their favor.
Yeah, like we said, a lot of people from our city of Busan are over there just putting in the effort to sway those votes until the last minute, like you just mentioned. And just our whole country, representatives just in Paris right now, trying to secure those votes, get that, sending, positive vibes all for Korea. Now, we've been mentioning how Riyadh is our main kind of competitor in this, but we also know that Italy, was like in the final three, but not a lot from there. Have they given up on their efforts?
It seems like it because the Italian Prime Minister Meloni won't attend the Bureau Internationale des Expositions, BIE General Assembly for the World Expo 2030 venue decision. Instead, they will send Deputy Foreign Minister Tripodi, and she will represent Italy. So Meloni, who previously appealed for Rome, will remain in Rome, and speculation suggests they are trying to avoid responsibility for a potential bid failure. So the absence may not impact the already decided situation. So in the Expo bid against Korea, Italy's confidence waned, with South Korea potentially overtaking Italy in the runoff. Italy, a latecomer, secured support from the U.S., Brazil, Slovenia, Haiti, African countries, and EU members, excluding France.
Okay, so it looks like with the heads of the country deciding not to make an appearance in Paris for the final decision, it does send signals that maybe they have given up or they don't expect their country or their city to be selected. I guess, that's good news for us. That's just more chances, more opportunities for Busan to snag the host spot.
I hope we can snag all those African votes.
Of course. Let's move on to our next bit of news. What do you have?
I have Seoul Metropolitan Office of Education is taking action against bullying parents. So the Seoul Metropolitan Office of Education filed a complaint against parents who made false accusations against an elementary school, leading to the cancellation of their children's election. The parents allegedly spread misinformation online about the school officials. In a separate incident, the Ministry of Education and the Seoul Metropolitan Office of Education plan to file a complaint against parents who threatened a supervisor after their child was caught cheating on the CSAT. The parents, identified as lawyers and instructors, engaged in verbal abuse and picket demonstrations. The accused parents released a statement denying illegal actions but acknowledged the inappropriateness of their protest.
Okay. So this is, when it comes to just education in general, it's always a very sensitive issue here in Korea. So this is the latest. Do you want to add anything more to that?
So, Seoul Metropolitan Office of Education is going to be conducting a pre-reservation system for school visits. And they will conduct a test run of the school visit preservation reservation system at 68 schools in the jurisdiction from tomorrow to prevent outsiders from entering the school indiscriminately. This is a follow-up measure taken by the City Office of Education after the death of a teacher at Seoul Elementary School in Seoul.
That's right.
The purpose is to prevent teachers from suffering from sudden visits by parents. Parents who want to visit the school can visit the school only after obtaining prior approval from the administrator by writing the date and time and purpose of the visit on the KakaoTalk channel. Once the visit is approved, a QR code will be sent out, and you must have it to visit the school. The city's Education Office will decide whether to fully introduce it next year after reviewing the results.
Yeah. So looking at this process that schools over there are going to implement, this is going to probably influence a lot of other schools, not only in that city but throughout Korea, on this type of method, right?
Yes.
'Cause, what they want, first and foremost, their children safe. Okay.
Yeah, children safe.
All right, we have time for our last bit of news. We're going to go international this time.
Yeah, the Israel-Hamas truce in Gaza has been extended by 2 additional days.
Okay.
Qatar said under the agreement, Hamas will be releasing 10 hostages each day, according to a senior Israeli advisor. The initial 4-day truce, which was slated to end Tuesday, marked the first major diplomatic breakthrough in the conflict, bringing temporary respite to the besieged enclave and allow the release of some hostages and prisoners.
Okay.
A new group of 11 freed hostages is back in Israel. The Israel Defense Force said Monday. All are Israelis with dual citizenship, according to Israeli and Qatar officials. With Monday's releases, Hamas has so far released 69 hostages, primarily women and children. Israel has freed 150 Palestinians from prison, mainly women and minors, many of whom were detained but never charged.
Okay, so, women, children, families being released, being put in situations where they feel safe. This is rather the most important point, but I do believe a lot of still devastating situations continuing to happen, right?
Yes. I just want to mention one thing before this is over. There's a baby who is less than 1 year old right now, who's about 9 months, still in captivity.
Goodness.
So the tragedy still remains at this point.
Yeah, so we're going to have to continue to keep our eyes on this. It seems like, with everything just going on in the world, we don't want to put something that's going on over there in this type of seriousness on the back burner. We've seen that happen a number of times, but to continue to fill our listeners in on what's going on in other parts of the world, especially with this dire situation over there. Okay, thank you so much. I'm sure you'll be continuing to provide our listeners
Yes,
with
I will be
updates.
updating, yes.
Thank you so much. You have a good night. Okay, we'll see you back here tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
All right, folks, let's take a quick song break. This is Dynamic Duo with Happy Day.
Yeah, we're back again. 우린 역동적인 이 인정. Just mine. 촛불을 더럽히고 류마티스란 놈은 아주 지독하게도 고생뿐이셨던 엄마의 어깨를 괴롭히고 부동산 펀드 투자 열풍에 뒷공문이 좁다가 번번이 절뚝대 내 돈 이고 성공이고 다 때려치고 싶은 맘의 삶의 비탈길에서 뭉크의 비명을 지르네 날 찌르네 이 시련은 내 이름에 먹칠을 해 오늘도 기나긴 하루와 나는 씨름해 떨어지는 해 앞에서 어깨가 늘어져도 한 줄기 빛을 품은 채 내일과 다시 딜을 해
Oh happy day 내일은 새로운 날 그날은 새로운 삶 Check it out yo Oh happy day 내일은 새로운 날 그날은 새로운 삶 Check it out yo
이기고 지고 비기다가도 또 뒤집히는 인생사 아쉬고 말아 세상에 깔리게 기회다 넌 네 인생의 지배자 자신 있게 굴어 눈치 보지 말고 크게 웃어 눈물이 흐를 때는 무식하게 참지 말고 울어 소리 내서 흥하고 시원하게 콜을 풀어 그리고 나서 또 그쳐 그냥 추억 하나 더 늘었다고 생각하며 웃어 넘어져도 다시 일어나라고 승리가 멀어져도 어두운 밤에도 우리는 꿈을 꾸니까 내일은 새로운 내일의 해가 뜨니까
오늘은 빠르게 내일로 가는데 That's my desire 떨리지 마요 또 다른 내일이 날 기다려도 waiting for me Oh happy day happy day 새로운 날 그날은 새로운 삶 Check it out yo Oh happy day happy day 새로운 날 그날은 새로운 삶 Check it out yo
불량스런 내 삶의 태도 때문에 가끔 내 인생을 뒤로 뺏도 챙겨 노력이 물거품 돼도 그래도 웃어봐 하하하하 불량스런 내 삶의 태도 때문에 가끔 내 인생을 뒤로 뺏도 챙겨 뼛속 깊이 후회돼도 그래도 웃어봐 하하하하 멈추지 마 yeah, yeah. 멈추지 마 yeah, yeah. 멈추지 마 yeah. 멈추지 마
Oh happy day 내일은 새로운 날 그날은 새로운 삶 Check it out
yeah. Dynamic duo
Oh happy
믿음의
day
유산 우리의 소망들이 새로운 우산 그더라도 웃어 웃으면 가장 소중한 유산 Just smile Just clap Just clap Yeah 내일은 새로운 날 또 다른 새로운 삶 Just clap Just clap Yeah 내일은 새로운 날 또 다른 새로운 삶
Happy Day by Dynamic Duo. And I know we're all hoping that today or tonight is going to be a happy day, right? I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm so nervous. I'm not saying, what if Busan doesn't get? I don't want to say this, but I have a good feeling our city will land the host position, the host spot for the 2030 World Expo. But you never know until that decision is going to be made, right? So still, I just want to continue to send good vibes. That's why with the first song and the second song that we just played on our show, just trying to continue with the positivity. I think we're going to need it, right? So I'm sure a lot of you are waiting for that announcement, but we got about 6 hours left, okay? So, don't get too nervous right off the bat because we got 6 hours left, like I said. Don't be like me, okay? Well, welcome to the show, everybody. This is Inside Busan. I'm your host, Min-Soo Shin. A good evening to you all. Let's see what the weather and traffic is looking like here in Busan City. Currently 8 degrees here in our city of Busan. Tomorrow, expecting morning low of 3 and afternoon highs of 10. So tomorrow the temperature here in Busan will drop more than today. Today was pretty nice, but it was colder than the day before. So this trend, this slightly slowing to chill trend is forecast to prevail for the remaining of the week. 점점 추워질 것 같습니다. So when temperatures, fluctuate this much, our bodies do become more vulnerable to catching stuff. All right, I'll just leave it at that. That 감기 going around these days. You do not want to catch it. I'm still getting over my cold, and it's 3 weeks and counting, folks. So everybody take care of your health. 내일은 찬바람이 불면서 더 춥겠습니다. 기온 변화가 심해서 감기 걸리지 않도록 조심하세요. 단디 챙기시고요. When it comes to our traffic, let's see. Congestion over on 수영 강변대로 from Olympic Dongsan three-way intersection going towards Centum City Junction. We also have congestion on 관문대로 from 삼락 interchange going towards 백양 Tunnel. Slow-moving traffic on 중앙대로 from 중부 Police Station going towards Busan Station. Everybody, drive safe and be safe. All right. So, like I said, T minus. I don't know. I've been hearing the news, but it's going to be around like 12 a.m., maybe a little over our time when the decision for the World Expo, host city for the World Expo will be made. So I'm just trying to get everybody on just, good feelings, good spirits, and send them over to Bali as a lot of, Busan City officials of our country, right? And just people doing all they can until the very last minute to make sure Korea and our city of Busan does bring and host the World Expo. Let's hear some encouraging words from Miss TMI, Hailey, with us here in the studio. Hi, Hailey.
유치해. And the new line, Busan is number one. Because we are literally number one on the ballot.
Oh, sorry. It's
yes,
already going off.
yes.
Like, see, like your positivity is sending off,
I'm just
just
breaking
alarms.
things.
Yeah, here Busan. But yes, Busan is number one. That's
Indeed it is.
That's the motto. I feel like our city should have gone with in the beginning.
Busan is number one. Well, I mean,
that's better than Busan is good, right? Number one. That's the best.
the best. Busan
맞아요.
is the best.
Yeah.
Well, because that was a little bit of luck, a little bit of TMI, because those numbers, ballot numbers, are decided on the order of when a country submitted their candidacy intent.
Okay.
Well, Russia was actually in the first spot because they did submit the letter, I believe, a month before we did. But because Moscow and Odessa, Ukraine, they had to drop out due to the ongoing war, that just bumped us to spot number one.
Yeah.
So, worked out. I mean, we don't want to capitalize on that. Definitely don't want to be that person. But I mean, that did bring us to number one. So,
맞아요.
yeah.
And Hailey, with all the work that you do here at BFM and also with Morning Wave, you've been pretty much on top of things when it comes to just information for the World Expo, right?
I'm like information central for the World Expo.
Yeah. I was mentioning to somebody here at BFM, I forgot who. I was like, we should just have her, just give her the mic and just have her on until the decision is made. Just continue to fill listeners in on this type of information.
Just me going, talking nonstop for the next 6 hours. We are at T-minus 6 hours.
Yes.
Just about.
Yeah. So 12, between like that 12 a.m. to like 1 a.m. mark local time here
So
in Busan.
they're saying, if things all go smoothly, the vote should be out by 12:30, even with round two. But then, I mean, we've been through enough elections to know that things, if you get 180 delegates together, it's not going to go, on the dot.
Yeah.
On the second. So
맞아요.
roughly midnight to 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about that a little bit in my TMI.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. We don't want to give too much of spoilers away. Oh, but I'm so nervous.
I know,
I'm so
right? Like,
nervous.
it's here. It's finally here.
맞아요. See, saying that makes me even more nervous.
Jitters.
Saying just finally here.
Finally here.
Right? It's like coming down to like an
Right.
end.
Yeah,
Like,
but all
to
good things.
close.
The butterflies, it's signaling good things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people sending good vibes. I feel like they're just doing it to help me calm down. We have 류상호 원장님 saying, "Let's get it." As
Let's
well.
get it.
Yes, JB님, 6 hours to go until the decision will be announced. Okay. And you say, what's next if Busan is selected? Well, I don't know. Hailey's going to fill us in on that, maybe.
Then we become the host city. Then,
Yeah.
the
And
North
then-
Port will be the fairgrounds and all good things.
All good things. I like
Yes,
that.
millions
All
of
good
people
things.
coming in, investments,
Okay,
and
okay.
yeah.
All right. Now I feel a little better.
Yeah.
Right. But that decision has to come first. All right. Thank you so much for your messages. Let's get to today's IOB 5분 상식. Time for IOB 5분 상식, getting our listeners in the know of some of the most trending, useful, need-to-know words and expressions. 5분만 들으면 유식해지는 시간인데요. Today, we are going to cover, let's see, 최근 한국이 유네스코 세계유산위원회 위원국으로 선출됐었죠. 세계유산위원회, the World Heritage Committee, 이거 대해 알아보도록 하겠습니다.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Hailey from IOB News. I have exciting news to share. South Korea has been elected as a member country of the UNESCO World Heritage Committee.
World Heritage, huh? Well, as host of this show, Hailey, I wonder what kind of ancient artifacts UNESCO's family ancestors have left behind. Also, who are they going to be passing it on to?
Minsu, I think there's been a misunderstanding. It's not about UNESCO's family ancestors. Also, it's not like inheriting a family heirloom. It's not an inheritance, it's heritage.
Ah, come on. Don't lie to me. Heritage is inheritance, right?
No.
Like my grandpa's watch, right? He inherited to me. So, Hailey, who's going to get it, huh?
No one's getting anything. It's about being a member of the committee, preserving cultural and natural treasures across the world.
Okay, I see. So like an international family treasure, right? I want to get in on this. How do I become part of that family, part of that UNESCO family? I will definitely consider leaving my family for the UNESCO family if it's for treasure.
Oh my God. All right, Gollum, are you serious? You can't just abandon your family for a committee.
Precious.
Oh my God. Heritage isn't a personal possession to be passed down.
I guess so. Hailey, didn't you also want this position right now, the position that I'm in? You're coveting the World Heritage too, aren't you?
Not coveting the World Heritage. I'm just coveting your spot. This is Hailey, host of Inside-Out Busan.
안 돼.
Tune in.
안 돼. Hailey, 빨리 나가세요.
No!
작가님, 데려가세요, Hailey.
No!
I see right through you, okay? Don't try to work your magic here. It's not going to get through me. All right, so the World Heritage Committee, 세계유산위원회. 이게 정확히 무엇입니까?
That's not
Please
that
explain.
kind of Yusan. So the World Heritage Committee was established in accordance with the 1972 World Heritage Convention. So the committee has final say on whether a property, be cultural, natural, or mixed, would be inscribed on the World Heritage List. It also examines conservation conditions and reports this to the state parties to take action when properties are not being properly managed or kept.
Okay. Now, is this the first time our country has been elected as a member of this committee?
No. As a member, the country will take part in discussions and decision-making process. And this is the fourth time that Korea has had the membership, once in 1997, 2005, and 2013. And at that time, the official 6-year term is customarily reduced to 4 years. And South Korea, we clinched. We took one of the 2 seats that are allocated to the Asian Pacific nations.
Because I was going to say, why do they keep kicking us out? Right? But it is a term. So,
Indeed.
Why has then South Korea's participation as a member during this term, particularly, why is it, in, headlines these days? And what is the significant importance for a country to hold this kind of position?
2 locations, Sado Island, the Sado Gwangsan, and Kunamdo, the Shima Island or Battleship Island. So as we have covered previously, South Korea's UNESCO committee election is very timely because it will be involved in the assessment of Japan's gold mines on the Sado Island, which is linked to forced labor during the forced occupation period. That decision will come next year, as well as Hashima Island's conservation, also tied to forced labor, which is under review. So South Korea, then, we have a greater voice as we are officially on the platform to be able to request to Japan to make the necessary adjustments, reflect proper history in its explanations on these sites.
So pretty important. It's not just a pretty title, that our country has. It looks like, we have plans to basically set the record straight.
Right, exactly.
With the given membership once again. All right, so 세계유산위원회, the World Heritage Committee, 세계 문화 및 자연유산 보호를 위한 정부 간 위원회로 세계유산 등재 최종 심의 결정의 권한을 가진다고 합니다. 오늘의 5분 상식이었습니다. 김대리, 퇴근하나?
예, 부장님.
집이 교회종이지? 같은 방향인데 같이 가지? 요즘 회사 생활 어떤가?
예, 저 열심히 잘하고 있습니다.
결혼 생활도 재밌지?
예, 뭐 즐겁죠, 예. 저 그 라디오라도 좀.
그래, 라디오.
네가 적었어요, 심참인 것 같네.
22번 훌륭명.
진짜 회사 생활 쉽지 않다. 어색한 이 순간 인사이드 아웃 부산과 함께하세요. 오늘은
TMI Busan.
Time for TMI Busan with Miss TMI. Hailey continue to be with us here in the studio. Hi, Hailey.
Hello still.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Good to
Yeah,
hear.
Good.
Yeah. Hopefully, the cold hasn't gotten to you yet. Like, literally, I'm talking about the temperature,
I'm
but
enjoying
also
it.
like, the sickness that's been
I
going
do.
around.
No, I mean, knock on wood, seriously. But I always do carry a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about keeping the inside of our nose not dry and cold.
맞아요.
Yeah.
여러분. See, that's something that I hear a lot, but I do not take like heart
Take
myself.
to heart. You don't practice it?
Exactly. That's why for the past 3 weeks I've been, going through this thing. I don't even know what to call this. It's not a 독감. It's not the flu because I've been tested for it.
Right. Well, I mean, we're on mic. I can't say it's your stupidity. Although I just did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you drinking water?
I was gonna say.
Are you getting
you were
liquids?
thinking it, and then
Are
it
you
and
wearing
then blurted
masks?
out.
Is there room
No,
humid
no,
at
no to
home?
all
Are
of that,
you getting
okay?
vitamins? My goodness.
네, 열심히 하겠습니다. 죄송해요.
안녕하세요.
네, TMI Busan. We're gonna cover a bit of TMI, things that's been going on here in Busan. So what do you got for us today?
All right, so this is almost the end of the year. And next year, another batch of elementary school students will be entering elementary school.
맞습니다.
But the popularity of private elementary schools in Busan has been going up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the average competition ratio to get into private elementary schools is now at 10 to 1. So for every spot that's open across 5, I believe, of Busan's elementary schools, private elementary schools, there are 10 kids going for it. Specifically, there are collectively 253 openings for incoming first graders to start next March. Before the next year, 2,537 kids applied, or their parents applied to the spots.
Okay.
So the competition ratio has been going up every single year from under 4 back in 2021. So in the matter of 3 years, we have jumped to 10 to 1.
Yeah. My daughter was at under 4. It was like we were looking like at like, are we gonna get in? Like, is there gonna be a spot open? Thank goodness a spot did open up.
Right.
But now it's being 10 to 1. But this is for like private schools you mentioned. Oh, I can't
So
imagine.
may I ask, if you don't mind, does your daughter go to private school?
Oh no, she goes to a public one, but
I
like
see.
I don't know what the numbers are over there. But I
Right.
was talking to a parent earlier today, and she was like already stressed because she happened to be on the wait list.
Exactly. And I do know some friends, and even my sister, she doesn't live in Busan. She was considering it. I mean, the reasons we do think of private schools as like, these like fancy prep schools. I mean, they are definitely more expensive. We're looking at not quite, but nearly 1 million won per month, and then add on your school bus fees and materials. But the thing is, these schools have more after-school classes and specialized classes. So for a lot of working parents, which a lot of parents are, then you don't need to coordinate all of their 학원 schedule and the bus rides. They can just leave their kids at school to be taken care of and to learn and, be enriched and enhanced and pick them up later on as opposed to public school. And then also during the COVID pandemic, private schools stayed open more. And they were basically more stable with running the classes. And then on top of this, the process of actually applying and getting selected has become more simplified. So there's more incentive. But of course, I mean, we're definitely not like picking on individuals for choosing that route. We completely understand the need. But just overall, the more expensive private schools getting more popular, it is a testament to perhaps then what the public school system is like. That is the concern.
Like, is the competition might be even more fierce over there.
Right.
then, right?
Also, I mean, then are people just not getting what they need from public schools? Is that why they're turning to private schools? So basically, are public schools not providing what's needed?
Yeah.
Also for individual students, because where these private schools are, they're not, I mean, they're usually not near your home. So kids, 7-year-olds, they have to get on the school bus at 7 a.m. to be chartered off to their buses, to their
7
schools,
a.m.?
excuse me. So it's tough. But for some families, it's necessary. For some, it is kind of a thing to enhance their kids. But that's 10 to 1 is where the numbers are.
I see. Well, yeah, like you said, probably gives a feel for just what's going on in terms of just competition for students getting into schools, just in general, public and private here in Korea. So thank you so much for that. What's next?
Number 2, I mean, speaking of schools, bedbug prevention.
Okay.
Prevention, not.
I hear bed and I already
we're just like
I already hear
freaking
bug
out.
in my head. But prevention. I like that.
Yes, because it's been about a week since we've had the first official bedbug sighting in Busan. I mean, fingers crossed, we haven't had any more official confirmations since then.
Yeah.
But because of this, public health officials are taking preemptive action. So Busan Metropolitan Office of Education held an urgent meeting last week to prevent bedbugs. There, they formed a dedicated team, a task force, if you will, to promptly respond to any and all bedbug reports. And on top of this, they'll conduct inspections over schools, especially those at dormitories, those who are not school health centers, nurses' offices, break rooms, and school buses. Because unfortunately, I mean, you know, we've had, like, you and I are from the age where head lice in schools was a thing.
Yeah.
And you know how rapidly that can spread because, you know, kids are in close quarters. They hang out too. They like hug each other. They play and they're like physically together. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the same thing with bed bugs.
What was your remedy, like where you were? Remedy for dealing
Head
with
lice? I mean, my second time my sister is being mentioned. My older sister got it in her school, passed it on to me. So my mom, I think, stayed up all night, like physically picking them out. I also didn't have super TMI. Apologies. I didn't have a lot of hair as a toddler.
Oh, yeah.
So it was very visible.
Yeah.
Don't have that problem now.
Love that flick, by the way. I think it was like suffocate them with like, you know, sauces that you find at home.
Sauces?
Like whether like peanut butter, mayonnaise.
On your head?
On your head. So if you just, you know, cake your scalp.
We're not giving out medical advice.
Oh yeah, this is just what I went through as a kid.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's what parents did during my youth. But that's
okay, I'll just see.
Yeah, that's how because they thought just doing that would suffocate the bugs, not let them breathe through that, you know, thick peanut butter or
and then
whatever
bring
sauce.
ants.
Oh yeah, that's. I mean, you rinse. I mean, you don't leave it in there and then just go on with your day. Like you rinse it off,
fun.
of course.
It's so fun.
But yes, bed bug prevention in schools. I think it's very important. Also, to make sure not only are we, so like sensitive with it at homes, but also, at schools. You mentioned dormitories as well. What's next?
All right. So next, we're gonna move on to the Expo portion of TMI Busan.
Yes.
This is TMI Expo. Dun-dun. All right, so the Northport Waterfront Park is open. It is open for you to enjoy the beautiful waterfront park in this beautiful weather. So this Northport, if and should when we win the bid to host the 2030 World Expo, the Northport will be the fairgrounds.
Have you been?
I've been. I do go to Busan Station quite often, and if you just go across the footbridge, it's right there.
It's pretty nice.
It's really nice.
And I liked it because not a lot of people were there. So
That's
I was
true.
like, oh, do not a lot of people know about this?
Exactly.
And I was like, oh, but like once the World Expo comes here,
I mean, it's going to be booming.
Right.
But for now, so enjoy it while you can in the serenity, in the solitude. So for the past few years, it's been going through this massive redevelopment project. I mean, it's going from the old industrial support to the waterfront park for the people, and that's one of the selling points. Anyways, the Busan Port Authority, the BPA, announced that the 150,000 square meter plot has been opened, and it is currently open from 5 a.m. to midnight every day. I mean, the weather's getting cold, but usually in the warmer months, there's this big wildflower complex and lots of great walking trails and whatnot. There was some friction between Busan City and the BPA on handing over the management rights, but that's been more or less resolved. There are some structural issues with some of the facilities. The BPA will take care of that and pass it down to Busan.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, we want the place nice and tidy. Once,
Exactly.
Once we bring
Well,
the
for
World Expo.
anything. But yeah, I mean, by the way, if you're going to Busan Station to catch a train, get there early because, traffic. But if you're there too early, then just pop on over for a nice walk.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to kill time over there. It's like a nice stroll.
Right.
And you get there, you mentioned that sky walk, they call it.
The footbridge.
Yeah, you go over that very busy street anyway, so it's very safe.
And
so
take lots of pictures because it's going to be changing rapidly in the coming years. So, yeah.
신기하겠다.
So,
That's
yeah,
good to
see
keep
history
in
the
mind.
making.
Yeah. Any more BIE World Expo news?
History in the making,
네.
Busan City is holding the Expo Bid concert. That's from 8 p.m. tonight at Busan Citizens Hall. So this is a huge event for the public to send their last push support for Busan and cheer the city on. So they'll have a live stream on the big screen from Paris for the final announcements. And of course, once again, expect to come between midnight to 1 a.m. Also, the Busan chapter of the Democratic Party, they're holding a street cheer session tonight in Seomyeon. So bundle up and join them if you will. They're also live streaming the whole thing on a multi-screen vehicle, and they'll connect to lawmakers who are in Paris to hear their opinions and their reporting as well. So lots of places to watch it. If you want to watch it at home, go ahead too. And we'll be back first thing tomorrow morning on the results.
And it's going to be everywhere, obviously, with the decision, right? But yeah, just hearing that news, it's making me nervous again.
Good energy. Sending good,
맞아요.
good,
positivity.
good energy.
Okay,
Yes.
over in Paris.
Over to Paris is whatever Paris is.
See,
in
this
the
is where
general
like
direction.
this is like the kid in me always imagining this kind of stuff in my head. But I was like, I wish like
psyching yourself out.
in these situations. I wish I had like Professor X, like X-Men mutant powers. To sway the decisions of people.
My.
I mean, it's not going to affect their lives personally if we get to host the World Expo. But this is just me imagining things. That's how much I want Busan to host
And I
the World
think
Expo.
that's such an important message because I don't think no other candidate country, Saudi Arabia or Italy, has like citizens really personally invested in it, like emotionally invested in it.
Yeah. I mean, because we just been like it's been all about that for the past 2, 3.
I mean, 4 years, kind
In
of
the making,
unofficially
yeah,
in the making, but for the past like fully year and a half, I believe, 2 years, because we submitted it 2 years ago in October. See, personally invested. I know the month.
맞아요.
Yeah.
Hailey, encyclopedia when it comes to the 2030 World Expo.
TMI Expo.
맞아요. But we like that kind of TMI.
I mean, hope is in the coming seasons we will actually have a TMI Expo.
I know,
hey.
right? This is going to open up a lot more doors for BFM and content. Hailey, thank you so much. That will do it for today's TMI. You have yourself a good night if you can. I don't know. Probably can't. You'll be probably tuning in to that live stream.
Definitely, for sure.
Good reporting tomorrow.
Thank you. Hopefully, good news tomorrow, and I'll see you next week.
맞아요. Thank you so much. And folks, that will do it for our number 1 of Inside Out Busan. Join us for our number 2. Right off the bat, we'll be connecting with our special guest over in Paris to find out all about just what's going on in the streets, what the vibe and atmosphere is like over there. To take us out of the first hour, this is La Seraphim with Perfect Night. I'll see you back here at 7.
Me and my girlies, we gon' party till it's early. Got me feeling otherworldly tonight. Caught in some traffic, but the radio was buzzing. Drop a red light and we're saying goodbye. Ooh. good. Why used to start the running way? Lean on you, babe. Ooh, night to morning, leave slow motion. I got all I need, you know nothing else can be the way that I feel when I'm dancing with my guys. 괜찮아 괜찮아 조금 불편해도 환경을 위해 너무 괜찮아 일회용 컵 대신 머그컵 비닐봉지 대신 에코백 물티슈 대신 손수건 우리의 실천 하나하나 모여 세상을 바꿔요 깨끗한 세상 플라스틱 제로 일회용품 제로 함께해서 참 좋은 우리의 시민
이 캠페인은 부산환경공단이 함께합니다.
We are
The firefighter duo.
Winter is so dry. Let's prevent fire by keeping these 3 rules. If you take caution, you can prevent a fire.
The #1 cause of fire in winter are electric blankets. Take special caution with highly flammable materials such as memory foam, toppers, and bedding.
Number 2, having too many appliances on the power outlet is dangerous. Always unplug all the appliances that you're not currently using.
Number 3, check the heater is off before leaving the house. Leaving it on for an extended period of time can cause a fire.
Let's all take part in preventing fire and have warm and safe winter this year.
Tune into BEFM 부산영어방송 for an emergency broadcast.
This campaign is brought to you by BEFM 부산영어방송.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
꼬리에 꼬리를 무는 품격 있는 토크. 시끄러워 죄송합니다.
Inside Out 부산.
Inside Out Busan.
인사이드 아웃 부산.
인사이다 부산.
Inside Out Busan. Inside Out Busan.
Welcome, everybody. Hour number 2 of Inside Out Busan, and I'm your host, Min-Soo Shin. 여러분 반갑습니다. 환영합니다. Thank you so much for joining us on just a night where a lot of people are very nervous. Yes, today will be the day they decide on the host city for the 2030 World Expo. So, I've been doing my best to try to send positive vibes over to Paris. Just a lot of people I know working very hard over there to make sure until the very end to bring the World Expo to Busan. I think we could do, the least we can do is also to send positive vibes over there, right? 그래서 여러분, 2030 엑스포 개최지 결정을 앞두고 부산을 위한 응원의 한마디 꼭꼭꼭 보내주세요. I'll be waiting for all your messages. A lot of people sending them. I'm going to read them later on in the show. But yeah, we got to do what we can to send those positive vibes to everybody. So, like I said, we're going to kick things off for hour number 2 with a very special interview. We actually have Busan City official over in Paris who is on the line waiting. He's going to be filling us in on just everything that's been going on until just, the last minute, right? He'll be there until the decision is made for the World Expo host city. So let's get to today's very special edition of On the Mic. All right, listeners, as we will be connecting with a very special person, our guest for today's special On the Mic, joining us from Paris, we have Busan Metropolitan City Expo Bid Planning Division Busan City member, Mr. 여정섭. 네, 안녕하세요.
예, 반갑습니다.
네, 반갑습니다. 네, 먼저 그 자기 소개 부탁드리겠습니다. 청취자들 위해.
예, 안녕하세요. 저는 부산시 엑스포추진본부 유치기획과에 근무하는 여정섭입니다.
반갑습니다. Thank you so much for joining us. So our special guest, 여정섭, who is part of Busan City's Expo Bid Planning Division. Basically a person in the thick of it, right? When it comes to promotion efforts for the World Expo. So we're going to find out a little bit about what's been going on in Paris because he's currently over there. 네, 부산시의 막바지 준비 상황은 어떤지 궁금한데요. 부산이 지난 기간 동안 엑스포 유치를 위해 어떤 노력들을 기울였는지 궁금합니다.
부산시의 준비 상황은 현재까지도 유치 교섭에 최선을 다하고 있으며
네.
부산은 지난 2014년부터 3,000일이 넘는 오랜 시간 동안 간절히 바라온 일입니다. 유치 초기에는 범국가적인 유치 동력이 형성되지 못해 많은 어려움이 있었음에도 각고의 노력을 다하였으며 현재는 부산이 아닌 대한민국이 2030 부산 세계 박람회 유치를 위해 범국가적으로 총력을 다하고 있습니다.
네. So he mentioned, the bid, our Busan City's bid efforts for the 2030 World Expo. This is something our city has been hoping for since 2014. So what if you count that up? More than 3,000 days, just our city officials has been working day and night. So despite facing a lot of challenges, he mentioned, because of the lack of just nationwide momentum for the bid, he says they have put in a lot of effort. Our city has put in a lot of effort. And, right now, it's not just Busan, it's all of Korea that's putting in the full effort to bring the World Expo here. 진짜 열심한 그 effort랑 일을 너무 저도 감사한 마음을 갖고 있는데요. 현재까지의 노력과 결과를 고려하여 부산이 2030 엑스포를 성공적 유치할 경우 부산은 어떤 변화가 있을까요, 주무관님?
일단 준비하는 과정을 통해 각종 인프라와 문화, 환경 조성으로 글로벌 도시에 걸맞는 조건을 갖추게 될 것이며 엑스포 유치와 더불어 가덕도 신공항을 2029년 완공하여 항공물류와 해양물류가 시너지를 이룸으로써 글로벌 물류 허브 도시로서의 면모를 완성할 수 있을 겁니다.
네, so I had asked him, considering the efforts, that the city has put in as well as the outcome that's set for today, if our city is able to bring the World Expo here, what kind of changes we can look out for? So with the successful bid, the process for preparing for the 2030 World Expo, this is going to enable Busan to really equip our city with just the conditions that it befits a global city. He mentioned various infrastructures, infrastructures when it comes to culture and environmental developments that will take place. So along with the winning bid, the completion of things like, projects like even the new airport, this is all going to synergize with just what our city has already had, and this will really help us fully establish ourselves as a global city indeed. This is, getting me really excited for just not only the decision, but really hoping our Busan city is able to host it. 2030 엑스포는 부산과 사우디 박빙이라는 말을 많이 들었는데요. 이제 오늘의 지금 주무관이 계시는 파리에서 결선 투표의 결과만 앞두고 있습니다. 현재까지의 노력을 바탕으로 경쟁 국가들보다 2030 엑스포 유치에서 부산이 어떤 측면에서 유리하다고 할 수 있을까요, 주무관님?
부산은 민간의 힘을 합쳐 코리안 원팀으로 치열한 교섭 활동을 펼쳐 부산에 대한 지지세가 계속 확대되어 있습니다.
네.
사우디는 국부 펀드를 활용하여 공격적인 투자를 약속하는 반면 우리 부산은 맞춤형 협력에 초점을 두고 있으며 정부와 부산시 기업은 국민이 자발적으로 나서 다양한 영역에서 다양한 네트워크로 움직이는 점이 우리의 장점이라고 할 수 있습니다.
멋집니다. See, this is kind of like the answer that's putting in the confidence, at least in me. He mentioned our country, not only Busan, but our country of South Korea. This is probably the only country out of all the other candidates that where public and private sectors are joining forces as this one team Korea. This is to put in the efforts as a cooperative, organization, cooperative group when it comes to bid efforts. He mentioned compared to, let's say, our competitor Riyadh over in Saudi Arabia, they've been promising aggressive investment using, of course, the country's wealth, whereas our strength lies in keeping up with the right timing, he mentioned, moving along together with the rest of the world. He mentioned areas of technology, also things like, carbon neutrality. These are all things that I'm sure we've been talking about for a long time. And our city of Busan and our country is very much in line with this. So that's also a good thing, I think, advantage that our city has. 네, 주무관님, 오늘 2030 엑스포 개최지가 결정되는 과정에 대해 오늘 현지 몇 시 어떤 방식으로 결정되는지 혹시 알려줄 수 있을까요?
예, 오늘 현지 시간 15시 30분 정도에 엑스포 후보국의 5차 PT 섹션을 종료한 뒤에 회원국별 대표가 총회장에서 비밀 투표로 1국 1표의 투표권을 행사합니다.
네.
결정 방법은 회원국 3분의 2 이상의 출석, 3분의 2 이상 다수표 확보 시 결정이며 1차 투표 시 3분의 2 이상 다수표를 확보한 후보국이 나오지 않으면 최소 득표국을 배제한 후 2차 투표에 들어가 최종 다득표국이 개최국으로 결정됩니다.
Okay, so a little bit about the breakdown of what will be taking place until the final decision, the final vote will be made. So he mentioned at 3:30 p.m. local time over there, the fifth and final presentations from the candidate countries will be made. And then right after those final presentations, yes, the voting will begin. Over at the General Assembly of the BIE, a secret ballot will take place. He mentioned one member country with one vote. A bit about the decision, the voting and the rules. He mentioned that 2/3 of the votes, of course, 2/3 of the member countries have to vote, as well 2/3 of the vote have to be for a country. But in the first round of the votes, if that doesn't happen, then they go on to a second round. So this is something that I'm sure more details will be provided tomorrow in terms of what the voting results were. I'm sure there's a lot of listeners that are very curious about the current atmosphere of Paris. 지금 파리 현지에서는 2030 엑스포 유치 결과 발표를 앞두고 어떠한 기대감이 느껴지고 있는지 주무관님 너무 궁금하고요. 파리 현지에서 분위기가 반응도 어떤지 그 대한 소식은 전해주시죠.
현재 파리는
네.
맑은 가을 하늘을 띠고 있으며
네.
특히 한복을 입은 외국인의 이색 고개 광고를 시작으로
네.
각종 시내 대형 광고판, 후기 자전거, 버스, 택시 등 대중교통을 통한 래핑과 부산 이즈 레디라는 부산 아트카까지 다양한 홍보로 유치 열기를 고조시키고 있습니다.
네.
특히 총회장 주변 홍보존에는 부산 시민단체와 파리 현지 교민이 벌써부터 함께 모여 응원전을 준비하고 있습니다.
너무 멋집니다. 근데 그 파리 그 가을 날씨에 한복 입는 분들 더하니까 그냥 상상하니까 너무 이쁜 이렇게 이게 픽처이거든요. 저 머릿속에. So he mentioned a little bit. 네, 너무 멋질 것 같아요. So right now in Paris, he mentioned it's just full on efforts. There's, like I said, a lot of representatives from Busan City, from Korea, even civic organizations of our city has gone over there to put in their efforts. So he mentioned people wearing hanbok on the streets of Paris to kind of, for the promotion efforts to cheer on for our city's bid to host the World Expo. A lot of presentations, a lot of programs going out on the streets. He also mentioned a lot of the locals over there in Paris getting into it as well, and they're seeing the excitement in people as they continue to cheer on Busan City for the bid. Oh, I can only imagine. It's exciting over here. I can only imagine how exciting it is over there. 네, 주무관님 마지막으로 부산에서 그리고 지금 파리에서 2030 엑스포를 유치를 위해 오랫동안 준비하고 애쓰신 만큼 엑스포 부산 유치를 기원하는 마음을 전해주신다면요?
2014년부터 전력을 다해 달려왔으며 이제는 정말 결승선이 눈앞에 보인다고 말씀드릴 수 있습니다. 육상 경기에서 막판 스퍼트를 질주해 대역전극을 펼치듯 대한민국도 2030 부산 세계 박람회 유치전에서 중동을 제외하고 전 대륙에서 고른 지지를 확보하면서 사우디를 상대로 막판 뒤집기를 시도하고 있습니다.
멋집니다.
인류
네네.
공명을 위해 개별 회원국 모두와 장기적이고 지속적인 파트너십을 맺고 실질적 노력을 다하고 있는 우리 대한민국 부산의 진정성이 통한다면 충분히 유치할 수 있다고 확신합니다.
주원이 너무 감사합니다. 너무 멋집니다. So his last words, with all the efforts since 2014 that him and Busan City has been putting in, this is the final lap he mentioned, just like a race, right? Like a running race. Although maybe our city might be a little bit behind, it's that last and final spurt that we need to take the lead. And he's very confident with the efforts that we've been putting in that we are able to take the lead over Saudi Arabia, over Riyadh. Thank you so much for just filling us in on what's going over there. 주무관님, 부탁드리겠습니다. 끝까지 부산이 월드 엑스포를 가져올 수 있도록 많이 노력해 주시고 많이 도와주세요, 주무관님.
감사합니다.
네, 감사합니다. 화이팅! 감사합니다. Thank you so much. So our special guest, that was Mr. Yeo Jung-sub, who is part of the Busan City Expo Bid Planning Division. 주무관님이랑 이제 통화하니까 제가 좀 살짝 더 confidence가 자신감이 좀 나네요. Busan City is able to bring the World Expo over here to South Korea, to our city. Looking forward to it. Big fighting to just everybody over there, Busan City officials, representatives of just our country, civic organizations. They're doing great work, putting in a lot of effort until the very last minute to make sure the World Expo comes home. That was today's On the Mic in Paris special. Thank you so much. Let's take a quick song break as we continue to send positive vibes over to Paris. This is Earth, Wind, and Fire with Happy Feelin'.
Power
Earth, Wind, and Fire with Happy Feeling. And yeah, sending happy feelings, positive vibes over to Paris as the decision for the host city for the 2030 World Expo will be taking place later on tonight. We just spoke with our special guest, Mr. Yeo Jung-sup, who is part of Busan City's Expo promotion big and committee. And he's been doing a lot of effort. He mentioned since 2014, right? 3,000, like putting in numbers like that, he mentioned 3,000 days our city has been working hard to bring the World Expo here. It all comes down to tonight, right? And he's been just the answers that he shared, putting a lot of confidence, at least in me and hopefully to you, our listeners. Busan City, we are going to, that last, that 마지막 spurt, as he said, right? In this race, we will take the lead. And, until that decision is announced, here's me crossing all my fingers and crossing all my toes, whatever it is I got to do to make it happen. Thank you so much to him once again. And hopefully it filled our listeners, gave a pretty good idea to our listeners what's going to be happening in the next couple of hours, as well as what's going on over there right now. Well, you're tuned into Inside Out Busan. Just to let you know, second hour of our show, I'm your host, Min-Soo Shin. Let's see what the weather and traffic is looking like here in our city. Right now, 8 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow, expecting morning low of 3 and afternoon high of 10. So the temperatures tomorrow will dip slightly compared to today. Sunnier skies are expected in Busan, and air quality will remain decent. The recent temperature fluctuations, though, have left many battling colds like me. So everybody, take care. If you got to wear a mask, you got to wear a mask, especially in crowded areas. Wash your hands frequently. These are all things, once again, that I am continuing to take to heart. 진짜 이번에 걸리면요, 조금 고생할 거예요. I feel like it's pretty rough, just what's been going around these days. 네, 여러분, 내일은 기온이 많이 떨어지겠고요. 건강 관리에 유의하세요. 그래서 단디 챙기시고요. When it comes to our traffic, let's see, congestion over on 만덕대로 from 만덕 성당 going towards 만덕 Junction. There's also congestion on 충렬대로 from 미남 Junction going towards 내성 Junction. And then we have slow-moving traffic on 낙동남로 from the Seongsan three-way intersection going towards Gangsa Police Station. Everybody, drive safe and be safe. Excuse me. So, like I said, a couple of hours left until the decision is made. So I wanted our listeners, until that decision is made, let's do our part in sending positive vibes over there. So as today is a day they decide on the host city for the World Expo, send your positive messages, words of encouragement and support. 네, 2030 엑스포 개최지 결정을 앞두고 부산을 위한 응원 한마디를 보내주시라고 제가 부탁했잖아요. So, lots of messages coming in. We have a message, let's see, from Moneyfree님 on our YouTube saying, 저도 응원하지만 just daydreaming. Yeah, I mean, we're all daydreaming right now, Moneyfree님, until, that daydream will become reality soon, okay? In 5 hours now. Excuse me, that the decision will be made. We also have 배영권님 on our YouTube saying 2030 부산 세계 박람회 화이팅! 감사합니다, HK님. Yeah, big 화이팅 to everybody over there. 토끼님 saying, why am I nervous? I sincerely hope that Busan should host the 2030 World Expo. 현지에서 노력하시는 분들도 응원합니다. 너무 감사합니다. So like I said, with our special guest for today's On the Mic, as well as just everybody working tirelessly in terms of promotion efforts to bring the 2030 World Expo home. 진짜 파이팅 합니다. 토끼님, 저도 엄청 떨려요. I'm so nervous too. Don't worry. 마이스 부사님 saying 화이팅 as well. 감사합니다. And we have, that's a long name. 우리 송인 명작 곡가 합니다. 부산 영어 노력하는. So this is something that we will be reading tomorrow in terms of the messages. But thank you so much for all your messages today. I didn't get to one message because one of those 응원 messages came directly from 우리 류상효 원장님 on our YouTube. I'm going to have him directly say his 응원 message. 원장님 안녕하십니까?
안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. 반갑습니다.
원장님, thank you so much for coming and welcome to the show. You also sent in your 응원 message, right?
Yes. My 응원 메시지. 우리 부산, I am one of those your Busanists like you, and then I want to be busy. I want to be 부산스럽게 되고 싶어요.
아, 부산스럽게 되고 싶다. What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that? 부산스럽게 된다 means 부산스럽다 means frantically busy. In Korean.
네.
Did you know that?
Yeah, oh, that actually means that.
Yeah, it
like
means
not
that.
not like our city is like that, but
Yeah.
if you look up in the dictionary, it actually says.
If you're frantically busy, like doing something very frivolously, you would say, 왜 부산스럽게 뭘 이렇게 막 그렇게 가만히 있지 못하니 막 이런 부산스럽다.
네.
It's one of my 아재 개그s.
네, 그것도 아재 개그. 혹시 벌써 아재 개그 나온 건가요?
아니요.
그럼 우리 세그먼트 시작할 때 아재 개그 없는 거죠? You know, that's a good way to put it. I feel like a lot of people, in a good way, this is a good way, positive way. A lot of people over in Paris right now, they're being 부산스럽다 because they're working, like I said, tirelessly. They're running around everywhere.
That's right.
Right now, you know, doing their best to bring the World Expo here. So, yeah. 부산스럽게 화이팅.
부산스럽게 화이팅 해야 돼요.
부산스럽게 화이팅 해야 됩니다. 네, 점점점. 좋습니다. 감사합니다. A couple more messages coming in. 희숙님 on our Kakao Talk saying, how are you today? 희숙님, I'm doing very well. How are you? And you said, Busan is the right place for the World Expo. Way to go. 희숙님, thank you so much. 맞아요. 부산 월드 엑스포를 개최할 수 있는 곳 진짜 부산밖에 없습니다. In my opinion. Don't you think so, 원장님?
그렇죠. 부산 엑스포인데 부산에서 해야지 부산 밖에서 하면 부산 엑스포가 아니죠.
그렇죠.
That's
right?
right.
But even taking the Busan out the title, just the World Expo, it's just right. I think our city is just right for an event like that.
Yes, beautiful sceneries like water and the ocean and the mountains.
맞아요.
It's already equipped.
맞습니다. 희수님, thank you so much for your 응원 message. We have text messages that came in as well. Hold on, let me load this back up. Computer not. We already have, a couple messages coming in. Let me read one. We have 1191님 saying, 엑스포 개최지 부산 확정으로 내일은 기사가 더 많아 귀 더 종긋하고 듣고 싶네요. 맞아요. So tomorrow 아침부터 it's going to be super busy. It's going to be super hectic probably. No matter what decision is made, but probably because Busan will be decided on. See, once again, being very positive. 내일 뉴스 좀 많이 바쁠 겁니다. 여러분 많이 읽어주세요. All right, thank you so much for all your messages. I'll get to more later on, but we do have to get to the Tuesday second hour segment, 인싸의학. 인싸의학 with Dr. Liu in the studio. Dr. Liu 안녕하십니까?
안녕하십니까? 안녕하세요. 닥터 류 인싸의학입니다. 인싸 누가 물어보더라고. 인싸가 무슨 뜻이니? What do you mean by 인싸?
인싸.
Yes, I said 인싸 means 사람들 사이에 쌓여서 사는 사람. 예,
Is that what we meant? I don't think so.
No. I just made that up. Maybe inside of somebody's attention.
I mean, it's a word play because you know how it's inside out Busan, so it's kind of 인싸의학. But then also, you know, like I don't know if they use the term these days. 요즘 유행어 아직 이제 유행이 지나서 그런 것 같아요. You know, like everything was 인싸 back then, like inside 할 때 인싸, right? So if you were 인싸, you were cool. 그래서 Dr. Lee, I mean, you've been doing 인싸의학 for a while here at Inside Out Busan. So I think 그때 유행어였을 때 인싸의학이었는데요.
I like it. I like it
too. I like it too. Yeah. Dr. Lee, how are you today?
I am doing great because I had a really, really restful weekend last week.
That's good.
Yes, and also I felt... Yes, I had a great time with my family. The family is my first priority.
Of course, right?
Yes.
I'm glad you got good family time.
And also, I have a very good expectation that we're going to win, I don't know, but still up in the air. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Oh, you mean for the World Expo?
Yes, for the expo. And then today's 아재 개그. I don't want to be sorry. Yes.
네.
I'm going to dive into that segment.
네.
Not segment. My arbitrarily coined segment. 인싸의학. 오늘은 아재 개그를 준비를 사실은 안 했는데 I picked up some kind of a very special 아재 개그 that I covered for the other day.
Oh, okay.
Actually, that one was from Laura. I didn't make that up. It's the name of a city in the world. What's the favorite city for maggots?
For maggots?
Maggots는 구데기인데요.
네.
구데기들이 좋아하는 도시는?
Good city for maggots.
이거 지난번에 로라가 해가지고.
네. Good city for maggots. What country?
It's to do with Expo.
Well, for maggots?
Maggots.
I have no idea.
Maggots 구더기잖아요.
네.
구더기가 자라서 뭐가 되죠?
Fly.
Fly 우리나라 말로?
파리. I was like fly. I was like 날아다. No, not 날아다니다. Oh, like fly as in the insect.
Yes. Paris.
두둥.
오늘 인싸 이야기했습니다.
네, 아주 인싸 아니었습니다. 네, Dr. Yu, thank you so much for that. 맞아요. To get in once again as we continue to be in the expo mood right now. All right, so 인싸의학, because Dr. Yu, with the new season that started this week, this is a segment that has come back. You know, every week that you've been providing our listeners very useful tips, information in general, causes, symptoms, what we could do about it of different types of conditions, sicknesses, even diseases that, you know, people are like catching these days, or something that's kind of very relatable to us here in Korea.
맞아요.
Right?
Before this segment,
네.
I always mulling over what kind of would be a good choice for our listeners, like the health issues related. So I scanned through a lot of news medias, and then I saw many very useful, very informative medical issues recently. One of them was mycoplasma. We talked about it before the other day.
Yeah.
And then these days in China, a lot of people, especially kids, are really sick with, contracted with this kind of virus. It's actually not virus, actually it's a germ. But, well, for our listeners, you don't need to feel really worried about this one, because mycoplasma is just for kids, but we have a very good hygiene system, so that's why you don't need to feel worried about it. And also, one of the famous celebrities, actually singers, contracted IFP, interstitial fibrosis, pulmonary fibrosis, and then scientists have yet to figure out what's causing it. But the best way to prevent it is quitting smoking and then eating a healthy diet.
Yeah.
And also the other thing is I covered up many things like how to prevent dizziness, how to prevent Alzheimer's disease, some other Parkinson's and neurodegenerative disorders and things like that. So if you have any questions, the listeners out there, please don't hesitate to, bother me.
맞아요. So if you have any curiosities just about what we're talking about today, or maybe anything that you are curious about when it comes to health in general, Dr. Yu has been providing some just great information, useful tips for our listeners. So tune in every Tuesday, second hour of our show. It's something that I'm sure a lot of our listeners could get a lot of useful information out of it. So ask away. We have a resident in-house doctor with us, right? We have a message that came in from 토끼님 before we get into today's segment. 토끼님 saying, Dr. Yu의 아재 개그 왜 중독적이죠? LOL. 토끼님, 이건 좋은 중독은 아닙니다. There's never such thing as a good addiction, okay? So don't get too close to Dr. Yu's 아재 개그. There should be there should be like a, how they have like warning labels for certain things, like alcohol or cigarettes or something. I feel like there should be a warning label.
That's right.
For 아재 개그.
Yeah, 아재 개그. Addiction. 중독성 means a little bit negative connotation.
Yeah.
But I want to kind of put a positive spin on it.
Okay.
So 중독, the other day I saw an article that a kid was really into playing games, and then he changed his mind. He put all those energy that was supposed to be spent on playing games. He put all this energy into studying, reading books, and then he went to a very, very prestigious college. So 중독 좋은 쪽으로 중독되면 더 좋은 거죠. 오늘의 중독은 여기까지만 했고요.
네.
갑자기 오늘은 갑자기 제가 머리가 복잡해지니까 머리카락이 빠질 것 같은 생각이 들어요. 그래서
That's a concern that a couple people have. I'll be honest, that's a concern that I have too.
Yeah, so I hope me saying this one might give you a lot of a good segue. 오늘은 탈모에 대해서 얘기할까 합니다.
Hair loss.
Hair loss.
Oh.
헤어 로스 하게 되면 머리가 없는 사람들을 대머리라고 하죠. 대머리를 하게 되면 학교 다닐 때 제가 영어 시간에 맨날 배웠던 게 이 볼드랑 bal드 해가지고 맨날 시험에서 헷갈렸던 것 같아요.
네.
그 볼드는 정말 대담한 거고.
맞아요.
하고 중간 발음입니다. bal드거든요.
네.
bal드 하면 정말 머리가 황하니 bal드한 거예요. bal드한 거.
네.
좀 머리가 샤이니한 거죠. bal드한 거를 말하는 겁니다.
네, 맞습니다.
오늘의 true or false에 대해서 해볼까 합니다.
탈모에 대해서.
True or false? True or false?
Baldness and I mean not baldness, hair loss.
Yeah, hair loss. That's right.
네.
The first one.
네.
Wearing hats too often can cause hair to fall out.
저 오늘 모자 쓰고 있잖아요.
모자 쓰면
like every other day on the on the show and just throughout the day I do wear hats a lot because I do it because I don't want to manage my hair. 저는 막 머리 막 바르고 막 스타일하는 거 진짜 싫어하거든요. Oh, I hope this is false. I want to say false because I wish it to be false. I would say false.
딩동댕.
Oh, yes.
좋았습니다.
Oh, so wearing hats doesn't?
No, it doesn't.
It's not like a factor?
No, it's not true. The reason why people believe in this kind of a false myth is that hair is the stuff that can breathe through airs.
Yeah.
But that's not the hair. Hair follicle that's stuck in our skin.
Yes.
There's a blood circulation around that hair follicle. That's where the oxygenation and then ventilation happens.
I know. So I was thinking yeah, because it's the blood that provides oxygen to the places that need it in our body. And people are saying, oh, if you wear a hat too much, you're not letting your scalp breathe. I was like, is that a thing? We're not like fish or anything. We don't have gills up there or anything, right? So I was like, I mean, I see where they think that makes sense, but I never believed it. Hence, that's why I wear hats often.
그래요. 그러면은 speaking of breathing without blood circulation, which organ in our parts doesn't have a blood circulation, but this is the only organ that breathes through air?
Oh. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, I like this quiz. The only organ in our body?
Yes.
That
as far as I know, this is the only organ. This is the only organ that I know that I know of.
That doesn't get. I mean, so obviously it's something that directly has contact with air.
That's right.
So
contact.
Our lungs.
Contact.
Oh, our eyes?
That's right. Contact lens. That's why 이게 여러분 우리는 검은 동자 눈 각막이라 그러죠. 원래 뭐 레이식이라든지 물론 라식 서저리 하는데 그 렌즈를 끼게 되면은 이게 우리 각막이 산소하고 컨택이 돼서 breathe 하는데 이거를 딱 하게 되면은 our cornea라고 그러는 cornea might get stifled or get suffocated.
Oh, so we have to let our corneas breathe.
That's right. 그래서 이게 그 서클 렌즈나 아니면 큰 눈동자 크게 하는 거게 되면은 눈을 숨 못 쉬게 해주는 거예요.
네, I like that. So that's like a little side information.
Yes, side information.
But so wearing hats too often can cause hair to fall out. That is false.
False.
여러분 모자 많이 쓰세요.
네, 쓰세요.
네.
네. Next is all hair loss is permanent. Permanent. It's not permanent or permanent.
Permanent, as in if you lose your hair, it won't grow back.
Oh, that's right. That's true. That's pretty exact description.
이것도 좀 슬프긴 한데. I mean, you mean naturally without doing anything to it?
It depends. There are many circumstances.
Other than implants or stuff like that. I mean, I've heard of stories of people going through like, treatments, other than implants, once again, not like no surgery kind of thing like required. And I've heard of a lot of these success stories of hair growing back. So I want to say it is physically possible. Yes.
맞습니다.
Good news.
Yes, good news.
Good news.
Yes.
네.
이거 여러분들은 이거 you can garden your hairs.
That's true. Excuse me. Yeah. So like I said, people putting different types of like oils and like stuff like that into their scalp, and this can. I mean, I've only seen it, but this can contribute to like hair growing back again in areas where you might have seen hair loss.
특별히 원형 탈모증이라고 있어요. 원형 탈모증.
네.
원형 탈모증 동전 모양처럼 한 곳이 이렇게 딱 땜빵이라고 그러는데 머리가 안 나는 게 있어요. 그런 경우는 이제 스트레스하고도 밀접한 경우도 많이 있고,
네.
sleep deprivation, 잠 못 자는 경우도 있겠고,
맞아요.
그다음 또 다른 hormonal factors might be to do with those kind of transient hair loss, especially the regional hair loss. 그런 경우가 있기 때문에 permanent하진 않죠.
Oh, good news once again. 네. What's next?
Yes. Next one is stress is causing your hair loss.
Oh, like you just mentioned, stress and lack of sleep does lead to hair loss. So this is true?
네, 딩딩동댕동댕
네.
맞습니다.
3 for 3
Yes,
right
I already
now.
gave away the answer.
네.
Next one. Only older people suffer from baldness.
이거는 false입니다.
네.
Thinking back to college, I've seen like people 2 years older than me that I think, wow, like he is going to have a lot of reflections on his scalp in a number of years. So I think young people go through it too as well.
You know what? It reminds me of a very funny scene that I had when I was in college. When I was as a medical students, they have to participate in some seeing patients, and so we made rounds with our professors. And then one of my friends is almost bald, so the patient kind of seeing not the professor, the patient saw my friend. Thinks that he is the real professor.
Because of the hair loss.
Yes, right.
It made him look a little older.
That's right. 그런 경우가 있었습니다. 젊은 사람들 많이 이제 baldness가 생길 수가 있어요.
맞아요. So this is something that affects, like the younger generation too, right? Good to know. 네.
And then next one is genetic hair loss. 유전적인 hair loss is passed down through your mother's side.
이거는 저 최근에 들었는데요. So some people always, I mean, I assumed baldness came from because father's side, because you look at your dad, and then if you're like a son especially, like that's going to be my future. But then somebody told me, well, you might want to also look on your mom's side, because then there's some people saying that bald, like hair loss, is something that's passed down from your mom's side, and I'm hoping this is true, because I don't want to happen to me what is happening to my dad.
Well, I'm gonna be really lenient judgment.
Okay.
It could be 50% is true.
Because it's not only from one side; it's from both sides.
It's from both sides.
맞죠? 그렇게 생각하지? I mean, because genetics come from both sides, right? It's not like one thing that overtakes.
그렇죠.
Other than like your physical appearance, maybe, right? I feel like that kind of stuff is half-half.
엄마 때문이야, 아빠 때문이야 이런 말 하지 마시고.
맞아. 그것 때문에 진짜 싸울 수도 있어요.
여러분,
네.
옛날에는 아들 못 낳으면은 많이 혼났잖아요. 아들 낳고 딸 낳고 하는 거 이것도 정말 사이드 트랙. I try to derail a little bit. 아들 낳고 딸 낳고 하는 건 남자 책임일까요, 여자 책임일까요?
이거는 아무도 책임 아닙니다.
그렇죠. 아무도 책임 아닌데
네.
그 which gender is very crucial deciding whether this baby is a boy or a girl.
Wait, there's science like that? Why have I not heard about this?
Really?
Yeah.
남자예요. sperm carries X gene.
Oh, okay.
You know, fertilizes female fetus, and then Y gene chromosome fertilizes with the baby turns into a boy.
Okay.
그런 영화가 있어요. 남자 책임입니다. 그래서 옛날에 그 여자분들이 우리나라 여성분들이 많이 학대를 당했었는데
네.
그거는 정말 역사적으로 힘든 그런 아픈 사실이지만 과학적으로는 그게 여자 책임이 아니었어요.
맞아요. So good science to know. Dr. Ryu, as we wrap up our segment today, we have time for maybe one more myth that you want to share about hair loss.
Okay, hair loss is only a problem for men.
Oh, no. This is false.
네, 맞습니다. 여자들도 많이 생길 수 있겠고요.
네.
또 그리고 이제 헤어가 이제 점점 머리가 뒤로 가는 것 같다 receding hair라고 얘기를 하죠. receding hair. 근데 이게 별거 아닌 것 같을지 모르겠지만 저도 이제 머리가 한쪽이 점점 나이가 들고 50이 되니까 너무 좀 빠지는데 생각해 보니까 내가 막상 이렇게 되면 어떻게 될까 하는 걱정이 앞서더라고요. 그래서 항상 생각을 했어요. 환자 입장에서 생각을 해야 되겠다. You need to be very sympathetic and then don't be neglectable, and then we have to take all things into account when it comes
Of
to seeing
course.
patients, and then be sympathetic.
Yeah.
Not only for your family members, for the other friends nearby.
Yeah, I mean, you know, hair loss, you know, for men and women, young and old, is something that, you know, you kind of want to say, I mean, who cares? But let's be honest, this is something that a lot of people do have issues and do have concerns about,
That's
and
right.
sometimes that concern can even be stressful, right? Dr. Dio, also before you leave, I also want to ask you, you know, other than treatments and implants people do to battle, hair loss, is there like, certain they say like, superfoods to help with like hair loss or anything. Is there anything like that maybe we could kind of, be in the know of?
Oh, smoking and drinking is really bad because yes,
of course,
it's bad for our circulation, especially microcirculation.
맞아요.
And also a lot of vitamin shampoos and vitamin products are available on the market. But nothing has been proven yet.
Okay. I was gonna say, so those do help, but.
Yes.
그냥 like it could feel like it helps 그냥 머릿속으로는, right? Right, mentally, but physically there isn't a lot of science backing it yet.
그렇습니다.
Okay, so hair loss is something that if you're going through it, I guess it's something that you just got to get through. But I mean, there are options, of course, and if it's something that you're concerned to a point where you're stressed about it, I'm sure consulting a doctor is always a good option.
맞아요. 요즘에는요 과학기술이 발달해가지고요. 옛날에는 머리 이식할 때 머리 스킨을 다 뜯었는데요. 요즘에 헤어 폴리클 이제 하나씩 해가지고 하나씩 임플란트해요. 그럼 뭐 2만 개 막 만개 일으키씩 하거든요. 정말 advancement of technology and medicine.
I heard from somewhere like even they take like each like strand or like like every 3 strands is like 500원 or something once they like flat it in. I mean, I don't know. I heard, right? I didn't get any consultations or anything. Dr. Lee, thank you so much today for 인싸의학 covering myths, true and false quiz that we had about 탈모 hair loss. Thank you for filling us in. Yeah, a lot of these facts sometimes I knew and sometimes like I heard. Is that true? 너무 궁금했어요. 네, 감사합니다, Dr. Liu. We'll see you back here next week.
네.
감사합니다. Folks, let's take a quick song break. This is Billy Joel with Vienna.
Slow down, you crazy child. You're so ambitious for a juvenile, but then if you're so smart, tell me why are you still so afraid? Where's the fire? What's the hurry about? You better cool it off before you burn it out. You got so much to do and only so many hours in a day. Hey, but you know that when the truth is told that you can get what you want or you can just get old, you're gonna kick off before you even get halfway through. Ooh, when will you realize Vienna waits for you? Slow down, everything you wanna be before your time. Although it's so romantic on the borderline tonight. Too bad, but it's the life you lead. You're so ahead of yourself that you forgot what you need. Though you could see when you're wrong, you know you can't always see when you're right. You're right. You got your passion, you got your pride, but don't you know that only fools are satisfied? Dream on, but don't imagine they'll all come true. Ooh, when will you realize Vienna waits for you? Child, and take the phone off the hook and disappear for a while. It's alright, you can't afford to lose a day or two. Oh, when will you realize?
푸짐한 선물을 원하십니까? 인싸의학 부산이 준비한 소중한 선물. Full course meal voucher from Golden Lizzie, a gourmet restaurant in 거제동 and 연산동, where you can taste cuisine from Michelin Guide featured Chef Kim. 미슐랭 셰프의 파인 레스토랑 골든 리지에서 10만 원 외식 상품권. 런지 10세트. A place to entertain your brain and eyes. Museum of Illusions. 당신의 눈과 뇌를 즐겁게 하는 곳. 뮤지엄 오브 일루전 부산 착시미술관 입장권. 회원님 끝까지 집중하셔야 돼요. 언제나 마시는 커피를 신선하게 만드는 양산에 위치한 Into Roastery. Coffee voucher and a pack. A fresh coffee whole beans. Sponsored by Into Roastery in 양산. 운동 중인데 향이 좋네요. 자, 회원님 다음 암풀 다운 핫 둘. A delicious meal voucher from Gorilla Brewing Busan, 광안 branch, the leader of Korean handmade beer culture. 자, 수제 맥주 전문점 고릴라 브루잉 부산에서 제공하는 식사권. 자, 회원님 마지막 덤벨 85kg. We prepare admission tickets for the Busan X the Sky Top Floor Observatory, which is located at LCT in Haeundae, the highest place in Busan. 끝까지 해야 됩니다. 끝까지. 자, 부산 대표 랜드마크 해운대 LCT에 위치한 하늘 위의 바다 부산 X the Sky 전망대 입장권을 선물로 드립니다. 회원님 수고하셨습니다. 네, 재밌는 방송 IOB와 함께 선물은 덤으로 지금 바로 참여하세요. 후하 후하.
All right, listeners, time to slowly wrap up today's program with our final segment, quote unquote. And today's quote kind of wraps up what I've been feeling just throughout today and today's show, especially talking about the final decision for the World Expo to be made in a couple of hours. 이제 몇 시간밖에 안 남았습니다. So today's quote is by Franklin D. Roosevelt. And the quote reads, "The only limit to our realization of tomorrow is our doubts of today." So this quote reminds us that often it's our own apprehensions that really hold us back, not the decision itself. So this quote addresses a common experience of anxiety and doubt when facing an important decision, like what I've been going through today. 그렇죠? So this quote suggests that uncertainty and fear we feel today, this shouldn't limit our potential for a positive outcome tomorrow. This quote serves as a reminder to have confidence in the future, despite the uncertainties of the present. I'm sure you've been hearing things like, Busan still, we're still kind of behind our competitors when it comes to the decision for the host city. Really, to have confidence, just in the decisions that to be made. This could be comforting for those who are nervous about, like I said, an impeding decision. It encourages us to be more optimistic and more forward-looking, to have that mindset. So today, after our special interview and after all the 응원 message of support and cheering from our listeners that have been coming in, I'm in good spirits right now. 저는 그 방송 시작했을 때 아직 좀 nervous하고 좀 긴장을 많이 했거든요 because of the decisions that to be made. But from all your messages of support and from our special interview today that we had, I'm pretty confident, right? We could do what is needed to bring the World Expo. So listeners, as we have a couple of hours to go, exciting times, and I'm looking forward to the decision that will be made. And once again, I am on the confident side now that Busan will indeed be host to the 2030 World Expo. Thank you so much for all your participation. Real quick before I go, we have NY Sky님 on our YouTube saying, finally tonight, I'm so excited. Busan will be the winner. Oh, NY Sky님, I love your confidence. I love your confidence. I should have had that right from the beginning. 너무 감사합니다. And that'll do it for today's show, folks. I'm going to leave you with our last track. This one's by 성시경 and 나얼 with 잠시라도 우리. Inside Out Busan was written by Im Soo-jin and was hosted and produced by yours truly, Min Soo-shin. Busan 화이팅! Expo 화이팅! I'll see you back here tomorrow.
몇 번의 사막을 거쳐 몇 번의 우기를 거쳐 고요를 거쳐 이제야 추억이 된 기억들 떠나간 모든 것은 시간 따라갔을 뿐 우릴 울리려 떠나간 건 아냐 너도 같을 거야 10년쯤 흘러가면 우린 어떻게 될까 만나지긴 할까 어떻게 서로를 기억해 줄까 서로 다른 그곳에서 잠시라도 우리 따뜻한 시간을 갖는다면 모든 것은 시간 따라갔을 뿐 우릴 울리려 떠나간